Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. If not, please someone ping me. I'm Patrick Deglon, VP of Enterprise Analytics and Analytics Platform at Change Healthcare. But this deck is not, about Change Healthcare. It's not vetted by Change Healthcare. It's really my personal story and how I've seen the growth of democratization of data science, in the enterprise. A few words about myself. Um, I'm a real life Sheldon, from Big Bang Theory. I've studied for 10 years particle physics, creation of universe at CERN. And then I led various teams, analytical team at eBay, and then motor mobility when it was a Google company. And recently I was at Teradata, driving, transforming a company from a data warehouse to an analytics platform. And right now I'm looking after the analytics platform and the enterprise analytics for Change Healthcare. The way I see, that my friends see me is this kind of super cool dude, kind of Wall Street style, working with multiple screens, doing cool things. I think my parents never really fully understood what I'm doing. There's some kind of computer stuff related. What the business I support think I'm doing, kind of a nerd into lost in history. What I think I'm doing, especially with my particle physics, is like theory and solving the ground unified theory of business. What the business want really me to do is kind of be this McKinsey, Bain's consultant, helping them grow the business. But what I really do is code, and I hope, and I think some of you, if not most of you, would relate to this settings. And I wanted to start with this comparison of my time at CERN, when I was trying to study the creation of universe, versus my time in corporate America, right, at eBay or Google, and see how things are different or equal, right? At CERN, we were writing kilometer-long Fortran C++ code. In the corporation world, we write miles-long SQL. We write miles-long SQL or Python code. The only difference is the unit. With American corporate America, it's more miles than kilometers. The analysis, will run for many hours, right, until a glitch, a batch, something break, and you have to start over. And here, similar thing. You can run for hours until there's a memory error or some other glitch, right? We studied billions of collision data points, right? And at eBay, for example, we're studying billions of customer data behaviors or transactions. Everything was great depth or in terms of data structure or complexity. Same for the corporation world. You need to know your local experts, right? Documentation doesn't really exist. You need to know your friend of a friend who knows the answers, and usually you should better do it yourself, much quicker. And in the world of corporation, it's the same. You need to remove the bad run, unclean or bad data acquisition. And in business, you have to remove the outliers or some wackos, some non-material transaction. You transform complex system into insights. And corporation is the same, right? To communicate finding at conferences, and we communicate recommendation to business reviews, right? We are a very strong competitive landscape with many experiments doing this in the same measurement. And in comparison, it's a strong competitive landscape, right? It's really impressive how similar the world of research is versus the world of corporation, right? And if you're getting out, from a master or PhD and trying to, that were more a little bit fundamental research, be aware that, the world in corporation has some really interesting aspects which are really similar to the worlds that the corporation and research are. The only big difference is, in the research, you're working for extremely smart, intellectual leaders that want to change the world, and improve mankind in general. Whereas, even if the picture is immersed, the corporation is here to run a business, not necessarily to, solve world hunger, unless it's a business model. And the type of leadership and the type of what you do, right, is different. And we'll go drive deeper into this. But basically, if I would take 4 years to study a specific topic, at CERN or research, you literally have maybe 4 days, right, to do that in the corporation world. So that introduced some differences. And as we are in this data science, right, I wanted to pause and ask ourselves, why did mankind invent data? 20,000 years ago. And I say 20,000 years ago because the oldest artifact related to data is this Ishango bones, found in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa, right? Why did they invent numbers? And nobody was here. Nobody knows, right? My personal belief is it was for counting. Counting how many cows or sheep I have, how many I have this month, have next month, right? Basically, it was the corporate world 20,000 years ago, right? And data is intimately linked to decision making and to running a business since the beginning of data 20,000 years ago. So looking at the who in the corporate world, because understanding who are, key species and key person and what are they looking for is extremely interesting and important as a data scientist, right? So you understand, why different people will react differently. In the corporate world, you have investor entrepreneurs, right? They want to have happy customers. And the happy customers, what? They like good product services, they want the company to be socially responsible, environmentally responsible, right? And those entrepreneurs, those shareholders, right, will elect a board of directors, a group of people, right, and they report to the shareholders, and they want to have happy shareholders. And the happy shareholders, in the end, it's money, it's a stock price. So the board of director will be hiring a CEO, and he's going to hire his executive team, right? And the only thing what they want is to have happy directors. And for them, the metrics of the data that they're looking at is slightly different, right? They're looking at earnings per share, right? The growth, they're looking at the operation margin. And they will have business teams, right? And the business team, think about your typical marketing sales, the person you might work with, right? They want to have a happy executive leadership team, right? And there, the interest is sales growth, improve return on investment, right? You see how metrics evolve as you go deeper into the food chain in corporate. The business team will work with an analytical team, and the analytical team, data scientist team will want to have happy customer team, and the business team is happy if the insight is bankable, right? If the insight is simple and the recommendation is simple, right? The analytics team will work with the data or operation team who wants to have happy analytical teams. And there, the analytics team, right? What an analyst and the data says, the data should be correct, it should be simple and fast to access data, and it should be simple to use. And then the data operation team, will rely on an infrastructure technology team, and they want to have happy data team, right? And it's all about high availability, flexible architecture, extensibility, right? So you see that, the data world from raw data to changing the company mission and objective, right? Evolve over or as we grow into the different layers of, corporate America. Let's drill down into, the data science aspect, which is mostly linked to the bottom layer here. So those people, right? They have challenges, and that's not typical. It's not linked to Change Healthcare or eBay or other. It's in general, right? We can observe typical elements which are not great and should be improved upon, and that's exactly where you can improve into evolving and democratizing data science across organization. A business team, a business leader, like an MBA person, right? At times does not take part in solving a problem. Just ask a question and then analytics team just figure it out, right? Sometimes they do not understand the results or the notion of what's a 95% confidence interval and that there's 5% range that to have a false positive, right? Or sometimes they listen and then they will never implement the recommendation, right? Analytical team, data science team, sometimes they will over-complexify the problem, We're all here to learn new tools and techniques, and sometimes if you could answer the problem in 2 hours, but then there is this great new architectures, deep learning or scikit-learn module that I can try. Someday we're going to try it out, right? And we're going to spend 4, 5, 6 days solving a problem, which we could have done in half a day, right? Insights, sometimes are not actionables, right? And if there's no action, you can spend 4 months working on a business problem, having greatest insight ever on mankind, right? But if the company will do nothing about those great insights, honestly, it could have been 4 months on vacation, same thing, right? And sometimes we solve the wrong problem, like we're using the wrong outcome with the wrong metrics, and unfortunately, that doesn't link to what the business problem was. The data operation team sometimes challenged with data quality, or hey, weather is really important. Weather is really important for our business making decision, right? How do I get weather data into the system? Well, it's going to take 6 months, right? It takes a long time to integrate new data, right? The data team doesn't really authorize user data. Like I have my list of users. How do I mix my user data with your enterprise data? And the platform IT team, right, sometimes style on data or service access does not support custom infrastructures or preferred tools, right? and sometimes abdicate the operationalization to the other thing. Right? Those are classical. Some of them occur for your area, but one need to be aware of those problems if you want to fix and improve the situation and truly democratize data science in the organization, democratize analytics in the organization, and democratize maybe data intelligence, right, in the organization. So that was the who. Who are the key elements that we want to solve for, right? The what is, in the end, it's analytics. Analytics, I think according to Gartner, is basically converting data into insight, prediction, recommendation. They define business intelligence, into how you convert data into insights, and then everything else goes at advanced analytics, which I call data science, but who's counting? So advanced analytics is about converting data to insights, but prediction and recommendation as well. I kind of bundle machine learning. So for me, machine learning is this iterative. There's an iterative approach. There's a gradient descent. Sometimes there's a lot of fully deterministic methods and approach in advanced analytics that are not machine learning. That's why I separate the two. And then I kind of keep learning apart just because it's pretty different. And there's a ton of different things, right, that you can do, from the pure data access and enrichment or reporting, or the simple analysis, right? The thing you could do in Excel, but sometimes Excel is too small for the big thing, so you want to do that at scale. Whether it's deterministic analytics, right, statistical analysis, text mining, past analysis, pattern matching, or machine learning, and most of that, you guys should know most of those categories. And then deep learning, some simple things. Not only the architectures, right, but also the machine learning ops, the X ops, right, the AI ops, right, the AutoML, right, feature stores, deep learning platform, etc. Those are all part of a blueprint, if you want, that one need to address if you want to make progress in democratizing data science, in the organization. So the cornerstone of what I'm saying is we need to understand the who, the business team needs, the analytics team, the data ops teams, right? And each one of them, right, will need to be able to work on all the different what, right? Whether it's basic analysis, right, or deterministic approach, or machine learning approach, and deep learning, right? And I know that scares a lot of us, when we say, well, if I'm going to have this colleague of mine, an MBA in marketing, starting to do XGBoost, it's going to be the end of my career. No, not really, right? There's a lot of business problems that are pretty simple. There's a bunch of input table. There's a clear churn, yes, no flag. Why don't we let them actually use some of the advanced methods into some kind of AutoML approach, right? And this is where we're, the blueprint of democratizing analytics and data science in the organization is really to be able to work with an initiative, right, which you're understanding the what and the who, and having tailored solution in all of that. The cornerstone will be some kind of data platform, and in analytics platform, I separate the two. One is a bit more OLTP, one is a bit more OLAP, or one is a bit more data lake, delta lake, and the other one is a bit more higher level, indexable, relational or non-relational database. One need to enable self-service ETL. I have this enterprise data. I want to understand the impact of my marketing email. I have a list of email I send the marketing email to, right? How do I mix the two, right? And if I want to do that every week, every month, how do I automate that piece of work, right? There's this notion of I want to do a reporting myself, right? I want to share insights and stories. This is holistic analytics ecosystem, right? Beyond the reporting and the ETL, you want to have some wikis, you want to have some summits, you want to have like a Q&A type of things where people can ask good questions. The difference with wiki is like it's more, it's more, the publication. It's more publication. It's long term. The Q&A is kind of more short term. And then you also want to have solution engineering or advanced, data science. There are cases where a segmentation is too complex for a business person to do, and you definitely want to have a supporting way. Here's a golden use case, for self-service. Let's say Emma, a marketing analyst, wanted to send the performance of an email campaign. So, the build of material of what you want to do is, end user training, how-to guides, videos, maybe TikTokification of the how-to, right? 3, 4, 5 minutes videos, data analytics summit, right? And she's going to load a list of targets, emails, people who receive the email, some places, maybe in S3, maybe using Databricks from AWS. She's going to find some example. Nobody should write a SQL from scratch, especially not the end user, right? And they're going to find some example in the wiki on how to merge a list of customers with Salesforce data, and she can run it. She can get the file locally. She can save it, right? Either it's a Redshift or RDS or others, and then she can open up in Excel and run her PowerPoint and have the answer. Right? The idea is, how does she do that by herself in 1 hour versus 2 weeks if she's starting to have an IT or analytics tickets and having onboarding and kickoff code, etc., right? And you will be surprised how many companies still have like more 2 weeks time for simple insights versus just self-service, get the data yourself. Most of the time you will get pushback, finance, marketing say, oh, I'm not going to write a line of SQL. Actually happened to me at Motorola Mobility, right? And what I was telling them is just give me 1 hour. Finance people will tell me in my face, I'm never going to write a SQL. It's like way of life. Give them 1 hour in which we train them on, hey, we never want you to write SQL from scratch. Here's some example, a business example that could interest you. Go browse, find something, copy paste into this, Chrome experience, SaaS online experience, press run, press download CSV, open Excel. Oh my God, amazing. The next week, I bump into the same person, say, oh, you truly changed my life. Instead of waiting for hours, days to get simple data pool, I can just do it myself. They really like it. Now, once this is done, right, you might want to automate this and creating a report, right? So you could use, she could automate the analysis or the as a recipe, right? In DataBrew or self-service ETL, she can use, for example, QuickSight for the reporting. And then John, maybe the marketing citizen data scientist. Like nobody's calling a citizen data scientist, but maybe John is a marketing guy who is slightly more technical than others, right? And he can use some automatic ML or even in SQL, for example. I have an example in a few slides, right? Which enable him to maybe uncover some new hidden insights in the campaign, right? And then maybe Tom, the CMO, right, want to review this, but honestly, he's not going to write SQL. He's not going to, no, he wants an Alexa-like experience, right? How can you actually talk to the computer or type in a question and get your answers? And we were very impressed so far with Alexa, the QuickSight Q experience. A few slides here. So, like, as mentioned, we like a QuickSight. You can embed the analytics. You can do some machine learning, whether it's a simple forecast or some outlier analysis. And then the QuickSight thing, if you haven't tried it, please, it's pretty amazing. You just type a question. I think it's kind of they use some Alexa natural language code, right? That will reflect on the data set, sales data set, for example, and you will understand. You can even ask for specific, for example, business person, right? And you can actually drill down not only on column names, but you can actually select, you can ask for a specific person, so specific rows in specific columns, the system will actually. Last slide is this interesting pitch, right? We often do data science. Maybe 99% of the time we do the data science in Python, right? But there's this kind of usage for end users, which is through SQL, right? Which is kind of interesting. I know this is the Churn Model from AWS. If you look at the notebook for that use cases, it's pretty lengthy. Right? But here, it's basically create model, and you have your data sets, bunch of columns. One of the columns is output, right? And then you basically say which column is output, right? What's the new name? I want to, basically your prediction, the function you want to use, basically the name of the output that you're going to create. And then there is this complex esoteric notion here, which hopefully at some point will have some default, and the end user doesn't have to enter that. But basically, this is provided in a wiki, so people shouldn't worry too much. But the advantage of that is you can have anybody, right, who has basic understanding of SQL actually do some churn analysis, or also predictive, right? There's no SageMaker's infrastructure server to set up, right? There's no model architectures. Everything is AutoML, right? There is no hyperparameters to fine tune, and there is no Python code. That's nothing against Python. It's just that it's shorter and simpler. I think that was it. I will stop sharing, and I don't know how it works, but if there's any question, give me the ping now, or if you find me on the agenda, and you can send me an email. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I hope you had fun and had a good glimpse into the world of corporation. Some of you might be in this transition between research, academia, and into corporate world.